Welcome to the Why Not Real Estate Podcast, where you will learn top strategies from world-class real estate investors, both large and small. Why not? Tune in and get started today.
So we're talking about creating wealth, right? And we're talking about the media aspect of it. So there was the printing press. Okay, first there was spoken word. Then there was the printing press. Then there was radio. Then there was TV. And then there was the internet. And then there was cell phones. Now we're entering the age of AI and automation and augmented reality and virtual reality. I think this thing is soon. The cell phone is on its way out soon enough. I don't know when, but augmented reality is going to be the new thing.
Hey, what's up, all of my real estate peeps? This is Brian Lucier back with another episode of the Why Not Real Estate Podcast, where we interview sometimes beginners, sometimes billionaires, seasoned real estate investors, where we believe on this show, investing in multifamily is one of the best asset classes in real estate. Although on several of the other shows, I've been shown some tip, tactic, technique, or strategy, which I thought was really cool. And I was happy to share it on the platform with you today. Well, today is going to be one of those events because we have a guest on the show who's breaking into real estate to help us promote what we've got going on. So many of us have seen Andrew Freed and his reels, and it's like, how does he do all this stuff? We've got someone on the show today who's going to be a partner affiliate with you for your real estate business, who can help you promote and get out there and get your story told. So let's introduce him and bring him on. Our guest today is a marketing strategist and creative director based in Worcester, Massachusetts, and he's the founder of Woo Power Media, a results-driven marketing agency helping local businesses turn attention into revenue through video storytelling, automation, and social media strategies. With a background scanning content creation, branding, and lead generation, he's built a reputation for bridging the gap between creativity and return on investment. His approach is simple: make marketing memorable, emotional, and profitable. He's worked with small business owners, nonprofits, and service brands to modernize their online presence, craft authentic narratives, and turn trust into consistent growth. Our guest's insight is shaped by the belief that every business has a story powerful enough to move people if told the right way. So whether he's rebranding for an accounting firm, filming hero videos for local charities, or building automation systems for clinics, his work focuses on building long-term brand equity while driving short-term results and profitability. So, ladies and gentlemen, all of my real estate peeps and rock stars and investors, it is my pleasure to welcome to the show today marketing strategist and founder of Woo Power Media, Mr. John Lundin. John, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Just to give our audience a little bit of background here, we met a few weeks back at the Worcester meetup. And at the end of the night, we were chit-chatting, and you were telling me a little bit about what you do. And it's like, oh, yeah, I need you, and I need you on the show. And I want you to tell your story on the show so we can help other real estate investors. So, John, you're going to be that Swiss Army knife marketing tool that all of us real estate peeps, like we know real estate, but we don't know marketing like you do. So this is going to be a little bit of a twist on the show today because typically all these questions I have are based on real estate investors.
Right.
So we're going to have to turn it around, switch the tables a little bit, and see what it is that you can do that can help all of us on this show. So, John, if it's okay with you, let's get started.
Let's do it.
All right. So, my guess is someday you're going to catch the bug and do real estate, but we'll come back.
Maybe.
We'll come back on that, and if you need help, we're here to help. So, creative director, that is like one of the esteemed titles in marketing, to make it all the way up from graphic designer and art director to get all the way to the top of the ladder, creative director. And here you are. So I understand what this is, and it's a privilege for me to have you on the show. Can you tell us your story on how you got to where you are and where you started and what that path looked like?
Of course. It started about 10, 11 years ago, like 2014, 2015. And I had to have been probably 20, 21 years old. And it started in the music industry. So I had a group of very close friends who were all musicians, but I wasn't a musician. But I had the love for music and the love for the lifestyle, going to shows, meeting people, listening to music all night, staying up till 6 in the morning, driving around, feeling young, feeling ambitious, feeling like you want to make an impact on the culture, music culture, fashion, trend setting, things like that. So that's what I was all about for like 5 years. And honestly, in a sense, I still am about that, but it's not that level that it used to be, where I was out till 5 in the morning with my friends.
Now it's only 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Don't worry, when you get
So
my age, you're hitting the pillow at 8 p.m. So,
right. So
so
yeah, my friends were musicians, and I was more handling the business side, relationship side, graphic design side, website building, and then I and just giving input, giving your opinion, just helping curate the design and feel of the brand. The brand was called Mass Effect. It was a group of about four individuals who I'm still close with today. And yeah, we were all just working together, being creative. And I got us some shows. I got us in some rooms. And we got older and things change, relationships change, but we also have that creative artist within ourselves that we still bring out from time to time.
so you were kind of manager slash promoter, getting the message out there, defining the brand, and delivering the message.
Exactly.
So, what were you doing to deliver that message? What was like my old days as graphic designer were wax machines. I don't
Right.
know if you even know what those were. So, what tools back in
Okay.
2015 were you using for promotion? And
All
where
right.
has it
So,
brought you involved?
right. So the moment I realized that something I was doing was working, it was a great moment. It felt like, wow, it's actually like this works. So we started a Twitter, Mass Effect Twitter, and we would just post, little quotes we had that we thought were interesting and that we thought were profound. As a young man, you think everything you say is profound. Things like that. We would take photos. So at some point I became the photographer. I just picked up the camera because we knew we needed it. We needed visuals. I was the guy willing to do it. And then one day we had a studio session in Boston. Oh, and in the meantime, we had the Twitter. I was posting the photos, posting videos, posting the tweets, and then I would go to like people who are famous or influencers in New England and around the world, and I would just follow everybody they're following. So
Huh.
we were following like 1,000 people, right? And then one day we go to this random studio in Boston, and then some guy goes, oh, so we introduce ourselves, so we're Mass Effect. He goes, I know you guys. And that right there was like it was just a proud moment, you know? Like, oh, something I did actually worked where we met someone in real life, you know? I started off on social media right away. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Okay, I would say the tools haven't changed much. It's just the way you go about creating the content has
Hmm.
changed because it's still social media, it's still websites, it's still email. I wouldn't say email as much, but of course email works. Oh, and it's fun. Well, so that was over 10 years ago, but now I'm getting heavy into networking in person, and that is so powerful. That's what's changed for me dramatically. The in-person networking, I think this will be one of my like go-to sayings for everybody from now on in the future is the power of in-person networking. It's insane. Like it's I haven't had so many results from something this fast ever when you're starting from the ground up because I'm starting my media company. I just started this year, 2025, because throughout my careers, I haven't had a company that was just mine. I was just been freelancing. But now that I'm like going out there promoting my company, promoting my name, myself, yeah, the tool of getting out there in person networking is so strong for someone starting at the bottom in terms of like the new pages and new company, new website, you know. Before everything was published underneath my name. So there was Mass Effect, and there was John Lundin. Now there's Woo Power Media. So
So
that's the transition right there.
you mentioned something that struck back to my life as an art director during the dot bomb, because I was designing websites probably when you were riding a tricycle, and I don't want to do that anymore. You know,
Right.
my life has evolved in a different path, but way back at the beginning of websites, and you just struck on it, and it struck me that maybe things haven't changed as much as I think they have. We used to say back in the day, content is king. So you've mentioned the tools, telling the story, the tweets, 140 characters in all, the photos and all of that. And then you said the tools haven't changed much, but how you're telling the story and the content that you deliver, that's it, correct me if I'm wrong, but is that where the meat on the bone is? Is that where the message is today?
It's so nuanced because in a way it's like it might sound contradictory because story is king, whether it's around the campfire as cavemen or today, story is the driver of all content. Story is everything. Martin Scorsese, right?
Sure.
Movie story, that's everything. Um, it's just about being creative and getting your story out there in different ways. I guess that's a way to put it.
So when you say that, I think of all these stories I've heard of P.T. Barnum, where he would say even bad reviews are great publicity.
Of course.
So,
Depending how you spin it.
right, exactly. Like you say in your bio, everybody has that powerful story if it's told in the right way.
Right.
So we've got a little bit of a foundation here. Your business, your graphics, you're doing the websites. The band kind of was a passion for you. That was the flame to get you started on all this. and then it really.
And then one day I picked up a camera.
And what was that? What was
Okay, so yeah, so before I picked up a camera, I didn't really know where I belonged. And then when I did pick up a camera, I kind of found my niche. It's complicated when it comes to the camera stuff. Like I have passion for it, but like only in like passion projects, you know. When it comes to business, using a camera is just business. But when it comes to like the only way I could say I have a strong passion for cameras is if I was like making a movie, probably, or like a documentary that I produce. You know what I mean? So
interesting? Like,
yeah,
uh, I can relate to this because my background is an illustrator, graphic designer, artist, and now I paint again. So I get it. Like, for me to go out and paint a painting of a trash can as a commercial project doesn't turn me on.
right,
But if there's colors or visuals or some story that I can apply that medium to, it's like I'm there.
right.
So is that what photography and the camera is a tool is for you?
Well, it's more so videography, but yeah. So okay, in 2015, picked up a camera, which is just my iPhone, because I was inspired off of YouTube, really, YouTubers, in particularly someone named Casey Neistat, and I got to give him the credit because it just changed my vision on storytelling. But I grew up watching all the movies with my dad, Platoon, Scarface, Goodfellas, Deer Hunter,
Oh
all the
God.
classic, all the Robert De Niro movies with my dad, all the bank heist movies, and I was watching all those movies at 10 and 12 years old. So I probably like it's probably something that's encoded in me over as a child. And but anyways, picked up a camera, started shooting like just little short films that were not even cohesive. But in 2016, I made a short film on Worcester. It was called Views of the 508. And then I built actually. So what I did was I had this idea. I said I want to film Worcester. I just want to film the life in Worcester, what it looks like to drive around and see the streets at night and during the daytime and people. And so I created an Instagram page first, and I would take photos of all of Worcester. This is in 2015, and it was called Views of the 508 on Instagram. It's still there; you can still see it. Gained over like 1,000 followers just by posting photos, and then I used that page for promotion for my short film that was coming out within like 6 months.
Hmm.
So then I post the short film on Facebook, and then it gets like 50,000 views in a week. Has like over 100,000 views within like a month or something. And that was like the first video I ever published online. And that kind of just gave me like the energy I needed to like understand I am a creator. I am someone who has vision. I am someone who has design understanding and just what people like to see, I guess, you know?
So that's really, really interesting because, that's like the holy grail of graphic design or marketing or advertising. Anybody can put together a design, but to get results from that design, that's like the secret sauce.
Yeah.
So you went from IG, views of 508, got a platform of 1,000-ish, then post this video and a
On
hundred
Facebook.
on Facebook and
Mm-hmm.
100 times growth in
Yeah.
weeks. So
In yeah.
why do you think that happened? What
Okay.
if you could point back in time, why do you think that campaign worked?
Um, and first of all, it was just a campaign for fun. There was no business behind it, right? Um, there's a couple reasons why it worked. One reason is because nobody ever did it before. It's not like New York City, where there's a million videos of New York City over the past 100 years. So this never done before is always something that gets traction. Um, and the second reason is because I showed the gritty side of Worcester. A lot of police lights, a lot of police cars, kids riding in it, like 50 kids riding in the middle of the street on their bikes. People outside the clubs at 2 in the morning, which is random. Um, showed like time lapses, sunsets. 2015, when there weren't as many videographers as there are today, or just directors in general. Um, so yeah, it was just like a good timing and just a little bit of vision, and also just the spirit to want to do something fun.
So, do you think it had some of the fire truck mentality to it? Like everybody slows down in traffic to watch a fire truck because you had sirens and this and that. Do you
Oh
think that
yeah,
that built some of the anticipation where people
definitely.
would be, but again, how do you go from 1,000 to how many views?
Well, technically, I made the Facebook page that day,
And how long
so
for
I
you to
went I
get?
went from zero to like 20,000 views in 24 hours.
Wow.
Yeah.
Marketing ain't what it used to be.
But if I had the vision to have a product next to the video, I could have sold something. Stupid.
Well, maybe, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Because, when you talk about branding and stuff like that, what does BMW sell?
They sell prestigious lifestyle, I guess.
The ultimate driving experience.
Right. Okay.
They don't sell cars.
Right.
What do fashion magazines sell? They don't sell clothes.
Hmm.
They sell that
Lifestyle.
emotional connection, right?
Right.
So with the fire trucks and the sirens, you keyed into something. The secret sauce was that emotion, right?
Hmm.
How do you tell the story? Um, Years and years and years and years ago, way too many years ago, um, I had the privilege of attending a presentation by the artist that designed the Rolling Stones Sticky Fingers album cover. That's the one with the zipper on the album. And his whole thing for all the work he did, you have to create designs that touch the heart.
Hmm.
Okay, so we've kind of wrapped our morphic globe around the secret sauce. So, how does someone who's flipping a property or wholesaling a house or a property manager or a syndicator or somebody who's looking for investors for a deal, how do they take that secret sauce of delivering a message that touches the heart, giving it to John Lundin, and turning it from a story into a return on investment? Because I'd love to know the answer to that. And I may be your next client.
I think it stems from authenticity of the person telling of behind the deal, or the deal maker, whoever the agent is, real estate, the investor, the person. Number one is authenticity for sure, because nobody likes fakeness. Nobody likes fake. It doesn't work. It doesn't fit. You have to be real. Why do you think people love the Rolling Stones or Mick Jagger or Led Zeppelin or 50 Cent? It's because they're real. they're real people, or they seem real, or they're either the world's greatest actors, or they come off very authentic. I think that's a little bit of secret sauce right there. Not secret sauce, but that's something that just works. So you just realize. You know
So
when you're talking to someone and they actually care, and you know when you're talking to someone who's being fake or just looking
selling.
for a sound. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a huge part of it.
Yeah. So the psychology of selling goes both ways, right? Like the Wolf of Wall Street, Buford. I can't think of his name, but I'll look it up later. They're always asking him to sell this pen.
Jordan Belfort, yeah.
Yeah, Jordan Belford, right. So you can't say, oh, you can say, but won't be successful. Oh, you really need this pen and you should use a blue pen and this and that. And instead, it's the questions and the emotional connection. So, why do you need a pen? What do you need a pen for? What would you do with that pen? You have to create that desire and need, right? So, this is fun. So, how do you, like, I know for myself, I'm a property manager. I'm a real estate investor. I buy properties. I rehab properties. I love apartment buildings. So what, how would you package something like that? And I understand I would have to be authentic in my story. And for me, I believe I am. I've been doing this a long time. I believe I'm passionate about it. But
Mm-hmm.
what would you do to pull out or how would you approach following me around for a day to tell my story, and how would you present it, and what would something like that look like?
I would say do everything you already do. Well, okay, well, there's two. There's. Let's put this into two strategies.
Yeah, you're the
Do
creative.
everything. Do everything you already do as if the camera's not even there. And then also on the second half, let's formulate ideas and content where we can bring value to people and educate people. See,
Value and education.
people will tune in because you're giving them something of value for free, right? And then those people follow you and they tune in week after week, week after week, and then eventually you can sell them something.
Hmm. Okay,
It's
so
about providing as much value as possible as you can humanly do, and then when the time is right, you strike.
so on my show, on my podcast, I don't sell anything. I
Mm-hmm.
give away free stuff. I mean, I've been told, well, why don't you use it as a platform to do coaching? It's like, do I really want to do that?
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be what I'm passionate about. At this point, I'm
Right.
in a point in my life where I want to give back information that's been handed to me, pass on that torch. And I get a kick out of seeing that investor for the first time giddy because they closed their first deal. Woo-hoo! That
Mm-hmm.
that's wonderful, right? So I love what you said about pretend that the camera's not watching, do
Mm-hmm.
what you normally do, and then add value and educate people.
People will
So,
just watch you out of entertainment, first of all. If they see you, okay, if they see you waking up, your morning routine, they see you taking a couple phone calls, right? Closing deals or starting deals, right? Golfing with the business partner, right? Then it's time to go to an open house or it's time to go hunt for some real estate, right? And then they see you shaking hands and doing demolition. It's like the travel TV channel, you know?
huh,
You know those shows?
I don't watch much TV anymore.
Yeah, me
I'm
neither. But like the point is there's entertainment, there's education, there's value, there's people just coming in to talk to you, just to tune in. People are bored. You might inspire someone.
huh,
It's just about being you and sprinkling some golden nuggets. Really, that's what I think.
Well, yeah, we do a lot of golden nuggets on this platform.
Yeah,
So I keep flashing back to these reality TV shows like Survivor, or
yeah,
even Modern Family, the way they used to film that, right? They'd be
hmm
in their environment, like doing their thing in the living room and blah blah blah,
right,
and then all of a sudden there's like a cutaway of like, yeah, and when he said that, I felt this way and I felt that way.
right,
It's like they come kind of out of the show to that moment where it's like, okay, I'm going to let you in on a little secret of what was really going on there.
yeah.
That it
Let
builds.
me answer let me answer your question better too.
Yeah, well, you're doing
Okay, so
fine.
if I were to follow, and let's go to like 3:45, we can go longer. If you can. So if I were to follow you around for a day, right? Okay, I would say, what do we have planned? Okay. When we get to the house, I want you to look at the camera and tell the camera what you're doing here, why you're here, what you have planned. When did you think of this idea about this house? Stand in front of the house, talk to the camera like this. Today, we're here because this is a golden opportunity. We found this deal. This is the deal of all deals. I just broke into character for a second. Um, you tell them why you're doing this, why it's a good deal, why this is business. Just provide more information on why you're doing this. You're doing this for a reason because it's lucrative to you. Number one. Number two is a passion. People, okay, here's one thing. People are on the internet searching every single second of how to make money. If you know how to make money, you can share it to the world and tell them how to make money. People don't know how to make money. Why do you think 90% of the population has a job? Because they don't know how to do it on their own. And a huge percentage of them want to learn how to do it. People want to be rich. People want to drive Lamborghinis. People want to be millionaires. They want to learn how to do it. If you could tell them how to do it for free, they will tune in. And if they believe you, they will tune in.
Well, I definitely have a message because I've been doing it decades. And, not to be cute here, but if you followed me around for a day here in Massachusetts, you'd be in my office, you'd be at a couple job sites, we'd probably walk to a couple properties, whatever, whatever
Mm-hmm.
was on that day. But then you'd also have to jump on a flight, come down to Aruba and see where
Mm-hmm.
I live, because
Mm-hmm.
all of what I did here got me to where I could be there. And I think for me, that was sexy for me. That,
Right.
okay, I worked my butt off for 40 years, 80 hours a week, so I can be on the beach at 4 p.m. and not worry about XYZ because I have a team. And that'd be a
Right.
nice tax deduction for you as well. Because there's making money and there's saving money on taxes and all the other
Right.
stuff that goes with a business.
Like I graduated from YouTube University, and I'm actually still a student. Okay.
Okay.
I learned everything about filmmaking. I learned a lot about day trading. I studied day trading for like 4 years, and right now I'm just working to get more capital. I studied brands. I study Nike. I study Coach. I study Burberry. I study Aston Martin, Lamborghini, right? I study people like you on YouTube. I just study all the time. I study on networking. I study social media algorithms. I'm always studying.
Huh. So I don't have a lot of exposure to the promotion side these days. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
back when I was graphic designer and all that stuff, we had our way of doing things. And that was, I feel like, a lifetime ago. compared
Right.
to what's available and accessible now. Like
Mhm.
back then, you'd pay hundreds of $1,000s to get on TV. Here, with a iPhone and an internet connection, you can promote your video. You could do views of the 508, put it on Facebook, and go to 20,000 hits in one day. What is available now today wasn't even available back then. So I want to focus in on Andrew Freed. Okay.
Mhm.
You were at Andrew's event. That's where we met. So for whatever reason, you found Andrew, and it's my guess because Andrew posts all the time. He's
Mhm.
always got some short little story out there, something, some tidbit of information, some golden nugget, as you called it. Was that how you found Andrew? What was the story that led you to be at that meetup?
No, I don't really even go on social media that much, honestly. I'm just on YouTube really, but I found it off of Google. I just Google networking events near me. I do that every day. I do it like once a week, just networking events near me, and I put everything into a spreadsheet and then just go to those events. So I found it on Eventbrite, I think.
So that goes back to your focus on in person networking in
Yeah.
person and the value that you find there. So when
Yeah.
you're networking out like that, it could be like a car club, a wine tasting, cheese, whatever, but somebody who has a passionate story and you can hook up with them. And we take this orb of the secret sauce, the authenticity, put it into some media campaign, 140 characters, some videos, some tweets, whatever it
Right.
is. You've got your bag of tricks and tools. Like, okay, I'm going to create all this content and tell this story, and then I'm
Right.
going to pop, 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 and put
Yeah.
it in all
So
these places.
if someone who didn't have podcasts like you was like, I want to start, what do I do? I would say, okay, let's meet up once a week on Sunday. Let's film 8 hours worth of content, 6 hours worth of content. I'll come back, edit everything. We'll release one to, depending on your budget, release X amount of pieces of content every single day across 5 to 7 platforms, 30 days in a month. That's between 150 to 200, 210 pieces of content spread across different platforms, whether it's podcast or education or vlogging or just unheard things, just different ways of providing value. For instance, there's a media companies who are charging $4,000 a month minimum just to clip podcasts and upload them. That's it.
So, what does that mean for someone who doesn't understand, like me? What is clip a podcast and post them? What does that mean? What do
So
you
let's
get?
say we have a
What do
1 hour podcast,
yeah, okay,
and during that podcast we have like numerous five, let's say 5 to 10 moments where like the conversation was very intriguing, um, and maybe rare, right? Unheard things before, unsaid things. A media company like mine could come in on a weekly basis or however often you're doing your podcast, find those clips, edit them with sound, graphic effects, even using AI animation to plug into that podcast to show the story. For instance, we were talking about how I did a video 10 years ago.
sure.
I could go on Google VO3, type up an AI video short, and plug that into the clip, so the clip is more visually engaging, so you can see what I was describing, right? And do that across every platform, and do that across every clip. It's a lot of work, but it's it definitely can provide a lot of value to people and just get you more traffic, more views, more clicks.
to drive the message and tell the story.
Right. And just get people to stay on your video and pay attention and watch and not swipe. You want scroll stopping videos.
Huh. So you just said some things which triggered in my mind Brandon Turner from Bigger Pockets. Uh, Hopefully, you know who that is. But, anyways, Brandon Turner was a host on this podcast for years and years and years, interviewing people, built a huge network of people who trust him because of the story he delivers, to the point where now he's no longer with Bigger Pockets. He's doing Open Door Capital. And because of his reputation from Bigger Pockets, he's attracting investors, opening up these multi-million dollar funds, pulling down these huge deals. Obviously, he knows what he's doing to pull down these deals. He's not shopping crazy, but because he knows what he's doing, because he has the credibility of being in that limelight for so many years, people trust him. So you're building trust.
Mm-hmm.
And I call those unspoken moments that you were talking about, I call them sizzle reels.
Right.
So even here, as we're talking, doing this interview, you've been explaining these conceptual things. And in the back of my mind, I'm saying, oh, that's sizzle reel number 3.
Right.
That's sizzle reel number 4, you know?
I think
So,
if everybody looked at this from terms of being like a movie director, it'd probably be easier. Even myself, even like me explaining this is like, oh, I could have done better at directing that message. You want to paint a picture. You want to get okay. So this is the essence of it, right? It's this thing right here. It's all about this, right? That's all we're talking about, right?
right. And
How are people consuming information today in 2025? They're doing it on this right here.
so
They're
just
not
for
reading newspapers. They're not watching TV. They're not listening to the radio. They're doing this for
So
hours.
for the benefit of when this hits the podcast and you don't have the visuals, John Lundin is holding up an iPhone and he's scrolling on it and he's making reference to, this is where we live now. This is our media. This is our connection to the world, the phone. So for those of you on the audio who didn't see what John did, that's what he did. John,
Right.
sorry to interrupt you, but
No, you're good.
I wanted to cover the visually impaired on that one.
Right. So you have that's something you have to understand, and most of us understand that. But it comes to find out people still like are trying to grasp it.
100%, because my pedigree, my training, my first industry I worked in was graphics. And for me, this is all a different world.
Hmm.
I mean, I understand the concept of telling the story, but the media has changed so much, even in the past 2 to 3 years with AI. I mean, you look at stuff online now on the phone where we live, and I got to double take all the time. I see the bear getting knocked over by the Halloween thing. It's like, did that really happen, or is that somebody's clever story?
Yeah, it's gonna get weird. It's gonna get weird.
Okay, so here we are. It's going to get weird. And we've got me doing a podcast trying to tell the story, what I believe is a real story of real
Hmm.
estate and building wealth, and how anybody, by following simple steps from experienced people who've done it before me and experienced people who will learn and do it after me, that you can create wealth. That's why I do the podcast.
100%. If if you just stick to anything in life, you can create wealth off of it, I think.
Hmm.
If you
Interesting.
put in your 10,000 hours, right? So something's got to give, whether it's this thing or that thing.
Well, maybe, because if your 10,000 hours is focused on, I'm going to bring back aluminum trash cans, that probably isn't going to work.
That's a good point.
Or if I'm going to recreate media to not
Right.
use the internet,
Yeah.
probably not going to work. So why did
Well,
they? So I'll say this, and then you're telling some great stories here. But in hockey, they used to call Wayne Gretzky the Great One,
mhm,
and they would ask him, "Why are you such a great hockey player?" He says, "Because I go where the puck is going to be, not where the
yeah,
puck is."
right.
So you're Wayne Gretzky in this story because you see where the puck is going, and now I'm holding up a phone.
We're talking about media, and so we're talking about creating wealth, right? And we're talking about the media aspect of it. So there was the printing press. Okay, first there was spoken word, then there was the printing press, then there was radio, then there was TV, and then there was the internet, and then there was cell phones. Now we're entering the age of AI and automation and augmented reality and virtual reality. This I think this thing is soon, the cell phone is on its way out soon enough. I don't know when, but augmented reality is going to be the new thing, which
What
is
what is augmented reality?
that's when you could like see the things that we're describing in like your real world. And one way they're doing that is with so sunglasses or reading glasses, whatever glasses that you put on your face, and then maybe one day it'll be contact lenses, and then one day it will be you don't have to leave your house. You just enter this little video game dreamlike state, and that those people are actually are seeing where the puck is. So my point was, those people are seeing where the puck is going. Those people are already thinking of that is $1 trillion industry that isn't here yet, but it will be. Um, people, I don't think people. This is I'm getting weird, but I think people are going to spend a lot of their time glued to some device where they're in that video game world.
So that's really interesting because I'm connecting dots back historically. So
Mm-hmm.
during the gold rush, and let's call the gold rush augmented reality, the people who made money were the ones selling the shovels.
Mm-hmm.
So the people, the creators of the shovel, this
Right.
augmented reality, they're going to be creating their own wealth. So how does, and this goes back to every principle of finance and money and wealth, the Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule, the 80-20 on the 20 rule. There's a small percentage of the people who are going to generate the wealth. That has
Mm-hmm.
never changed over time.
Right.
And I don't see history breaking that pattern.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, in my world, in my physical reality, real estate works. Buying
Mm-hmm.
a building, enhancing it, making it more valuable, collecting rent for it, refinancing it, repurposing it, eventually selling it, maybe a 1099 or, 1031 or what is it, the Delaware statutory trusts. There's all these tools to take the wealth you've created and create more wealth out of it and magnify that wealth. So to flip it around, you selling shovels, right? You taking the story of what I just said and packaging it so someone can experience that on their phone. You're part of the gold rush selling the next shovel.
Definitely. It's
This is
interesting.
interesting. We
Yeah.
both said that at the same time.
Yeah, it is. It's different, you know?
Wow. So you've definitely given me some ideas here. I mean, I don't know. Um, yeah, like I'm stuck in my world. I'm stuck in my gold rush of what I know about properties. I mean, I probably learned more about real estate or forgotten more about real estate than some people will ever learn because I've been doing it so long. I would love to, not on this episode, but I would love to hook up with you at a future date
Hmm.
to, continue this conversation because I know what I know, but you're outside of the glass seeing it. You're going to see that unspoken thing that I do or that sizzle reel in my world that
Right,
that you could say, Brian, let's take this piece and put
right.
it here and put it out there. It doesn't have to be the whole pizza. We just
Hmm.
want this one piece of pepperoni and we're going to put it out there to tease people enough to tune in.
Even for myself, if I had that, it's almost like everybody needs their own little director.
Hmm.
And maybe people who are like very talented don't need it as much, you know, but I think it helps.
Well, I consider myself talented, but I'm not going to sit on my computer and do 40 to 80 hours of editing anymore. I
Yeah,
got
yeah, yeah.
deals to do.
Yep.
I got real wealth to build.
Yeah. And even myself, I'm not looking to be an editor. I'm looking to grow systems. You know what I mean? I'm looking to be a deal maker actually, right? I can editing is a commodity. Once you have like a formula or system, you can just replicate that algorithm type of editing. The so the type of editing that generates views in algorithms, I would say that's a commodity, you know? When it's not a commodity is when you do it first. And you're the first to think of a new style. But after that, people can just copy what you do.
To a point,
Right.
right? Because I used to think that about my business and all that. It's like, I don't want to give away all my secrets and all that, but they
Hmm.
can't duplicate you,
Right.
that genuine, authentic piece of the equation.
Hmm.
They can go through the motions and do the same move, but
Hmm.
they can't think like you.
Right.
Maybe if they watch enough episodes, they'll get close, but
Yeah.
John, this was cool. I mean, this was not a real estate podcast per se. I kept throwing it in there as the example, but I think this was an interesting conversation that I've been needing to have for a
Hmm.
long time. So thank you for bringing your crystal orb of where you think this is going. I mean, no, really. All right. Like if I'm talking about real estate, I know things that normal people don't know. You're
Right.
involved in a media and an industry and a movement that people don't know. And someone like me, I was a pedigree there and I
Hmm.
don't know.
So let me ask you, how do you get people to believe in this and actually um believe that it's worth spending money on, spending thousands of dollars on
Real estate?
the promotion marketing side of growing a personal brand or growing another aspect of the business that needs marketing.
You have to have a purpose. You need to have a goal for growth because if you don't have a goal for growth, you don't need to grow and you don't need to promote. I
Hmm.
just saw scrolling the other day, Arnold Schwarzenegger quoted Ted Turner. He said, "This is business. If you learn this, you're in good shape. Early to bed, early to rise, work like hell, and advertise." And that's how you grow a business. What
Right.
is the purpose of growing a business? To create profit and wealth so you can live the life you want, where you want, when you want, with who you want, on
Mhm.
your own terms. And for me, real estate has given me that.
Mhm.
Now I'm to the point where I'm standing on the mountain with my megaphone trying to share that with everybody else.
Right. Well, there's always more to do. So that's why you did this podcast, I'm assuming, because you saw you had a vision of some sort, right?
Sure,
Of
this
like
this
there's
podcast,
something there's more than just real estate here. There's something else, you know?
it's growth. It's
Right.
like I've been through the market cycles. I've owned property, sold property, and now it's to a point where the market is shifting where it's time to own property again. I know
Hmm.
that because I've gone around the cycle. This is my third time around. I know what's coming.
Okay, so I'm curious to know about the market. So tell me everything you believe that's happening in the market and where we were within the past 10 years and where it's going to go.
Sure. In the big Great Recession, the BGR, they call it sometimes, in 2008, when the loan crisis happened, all those bad loans happened. Like 80% of America properties were undervalued. People were losing properties. Goldman Sachs folded. All these horrible things in that financial era happened, and developers folded up and stopped building. And
Hmm.
that stayed that way for a long time, which forced the real estate industry to stay artificially inflated high.
Hmm.
Now, rents are so high, properties are so high, people cannot bear it anymore.
Hmm.
I've been through market cycles where rents have dropped. A lot of the younger investors have not seen this happen. They
Hmm.
are under the Kool-Aid of rents go up 5% every year.
Right.
We're already seeing rents dropping. We're
Mm.
already seeing, we just shifted and pivoted our leasing program yesterday and already are seeing results, more traffic coming in. So it's shifting and you need to be ready for that. So what's going to happen? Eventually, all these people who bought thinking rates are going to stay down, rents are going to go up, rents aren't going to go up anymore. So their projected trajectory on wealth, yeah, we'll be able to sustain paying this mortgage because rents are going to go up every 5 years. I mean, 5% every year. If that doesn't happen, they're going to tank. There's going to be more foreclosures, and people like me, bottom feeders, are going to be scooping up these properties like deals. And that's
So,
what I see.
so, I mean, obviously, there's always going to be a crash.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
always a cycle,
Yeah.
always.
You think it's going to be bad? Like, oh, wait, bad? No, right? Could be
Well,
that bad.
the answer
That
to
was a
my
different story. That was the banks.
no. The answer to my story is based on my perspective.
Okay.
It's going to be bad for those people who are not prepared.
Hmm.
It's going to be a gold rush for those people who see it coming.
Right.
So
So
to
you're
ask
cash heavy
you,
right now.
if you're asking me if I think it's going to be bad, I'm going to say personally, me, no, I can't wait.
Yeah.
I'm watching the calendar and just waiting for things to crash.
How do
But
we know? Is it going to be like the market, like the S&P, or is it going to be like a slow drip, like not on the market, not on the charts?
that is a great question. What I've seen in the last two real estate cycles is it climbs slowly. If you can't see my pen, it climbs
Yep.
slowly and then it gets to that peak. And then, like a roller coaster, drops like a knife.
Okay.
It goes down a lot faster than it goes up.
Right.
So once that turns, like I've been interviewing people on the show now for the last 2 years saying,
Hmm.
yeah, we're waiting. We're keeping our gunpowder dry.
Wow.
You know, we've had a billionaire on the show, same thing. He says, I'm not buying yet. But if, what is he saying? 2008, you're too late.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, 228, 2028, you're too late, right?
Okay. Well, yeah, I would think you want to be Michael Burry in 2008.
Um, I don't need to be the biggest player on the block.
Hmm.
I just
Yeah.
need to be successful.
So is there a certain ETF or index to watch just to know when it's happening, or is it just like general?
It's kind of upside down what I watch.
Hmm.
I watch the single family home markets.
Okay.
So if mom and dad America or young folks like you cannot afford, or the market doesn't allow the inventory to buy a single family home, you're going to rent.
Hmm.
65% of America right now are renters. We are turning into a country of renters. I'm selling shovels.
Hmm. Okay. I gotta get some cash.
No, you don't.
Okay, what do I gotta do?
You have to build a network of people. Like, I've bought millions of dollars of property without putting in a penny of my own money
Right.
because I understand the deal and I can say,
Hmm.
this is the deal. Here's how it's going to work. Here are the returns, and this will work. I
How long does
just
it
want,
take to get that education to know what a good deal is?
this is a great answer. Um, a reporter was interviewing Henry Ford once and asked him, how do you know how to make such good business decisions? And he answered, experience. So then
Hmm.
the reporter thought about it for a minute and says, well, how do you get experience? And he says, by making bad business decisions.
Hmm. Yep. Yeah, it's true.
So in my years, I've made a lot of mistakes. I've lost a lot of money, but learned from
Yep.
that and try not to do those bad things anymore.
I think
Focus.
we all lose more than we make.
If you don't learn from your losses, yeah.
Well, okay, we probably all lose bigger opportunities than the opportunities we make.
Loss aversion,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. The fear of missing out, FOMO, or all these other, well, what if that and what if that, those will hold back more people from more opportunities
Hmm.
than the real go getters and the millionaires and billionaires who look at it as an equation and say, okay, my downside is I lose $100,000. That's bad. That'll keep some people out of the game. My upside is I make $1 million. Okay, so my upside net, I make $900,000 on the risk. My downside is I lose 100,000. Am I doing enough deals that are working to cover $100,000 loss? Yes.
Hey, I want to ask you this. So I've heard people say you can't own properties and not speak to the tenants or not do property management. But I'm like, I don't believe that because there's plenty of people who own enterprises and conglomerates who don't speak to their tenants, who don't do
Right.
property management.
So who's giving
So
you that advice? The
nobody in
conglomerate?
particular, nobody in
Yeah, I mean,
particular. But like, so what does it take to what does it take to scale to get to the point where you don't have to touch any of that stuff anymore? You just work through your assistant. Like, how does somebody create that like that system? Because it's like it's okay. You're spending your time to make money. Okay, well then you have to delegate, but then you need more deals. but then you need money to pay your employees, but then you need more deals, but then you're doing this. People do it, but it's like I want to get to that level someday, but
Well, you said earlier you like systems, right? So you build
right.
these systems. So how do you do this and do that and grow and all that? By doing good deals. How do you
Hmm.
do good deals? By learning from either your own bad deals or other people's bad deals, and don't
Right.
do that.
Yeah.
So my investors who come in on my deals, I have a track record because I've been doing this. They've come and gone and I paid them back. And now when I go back to them and say, hey, I found something else, they're saying, how much? When's my return? What am I looking at? They don't want to know about the deal. They want to know about writing the check and how much of a bigger check they're going to get back. And that's
Hmm.
my job to provide that. I
Okay.
would suggest a really good book for you to take a look at, or audio if that's the way things go these days. Brian Burke, Hands Off Investor. And that's all written for
Mm.
a limited partner. Like the general partner is the syndicator who puts together the deal. He finds the property and then collects money from limited properties to make the deal work. That's what Andrew Freed does, right? So the limited partners are, I write you a check, you write me a bigger check back. What's my involvement? What's my responsibility? To make sure
Nothing.
that you're not a crook.
Yeah.
Make sure you've got a track record. You've done this before.
Right.
I actually want to know that you've done some bad deals. So you know what a bad deal looks like, so you're not going to do one.
Hmm. Nice.
John, this was fun.
Yeah. I had fun too.
So I do want to hook up with you at a later date and time
Okay.
because I want you to take a look at my platform because my views are horrible, right? And I'm saying that right on my own podcast. I'm not getting enough traffic. I'm not getting enough views. I believe I'm putting out good content, but I'm not John. I don't know how to ramp up the views.
Well,
So,
hey, there's nothing stopping you from. So here's a little idea. You have your podcast, right? But what's stopping you from getting a camera, putting it on a tripod, coming up with a one video idea, and presenting that to the camera? Story time with Brian, right? Education with Brian. This, right?
well, I think I do that every other week on the yellow podcasts, the Golden Nuggets,
Hmm.
because in those I'll unpack some tip, tactic, or
Right.
technique that you can put in your tool belt to
How
use
how
to do.
often are you in Aruba?
Oh, I try to be there as much as possible. I've been here since June because I bought an apartment building that I'm overseeing and doing some of the renovations.
Hmm.
It was a sweet
Okay.
deal. I couldn't,
Right.
it was sweet enough to get me off the beach.
Right. I definitely think we could work and do some fun stuff.
I would like that. And then obviously, if you can point back to my podcast and say, look what I did for this guy, I become your next campaign for the next Andrew Freed or the next Brian Lucier or
Let's do
whatever.
it.
Yeah.
It sounds exciting. I'm excited.
All right.
I like I like talking about that kind of stuff because it's big. It all could be so big.
Yeah. I actually want to, I'm going to pop a cork here and we'll see where this goes. But you're starting a brand new company. You've
Yep.
shown me a gold rush that's coming, and I'm smart enough to know to invest in the next
Hmm.
gold rush. You may
Hmm.
not be real estate, but you may be Wayne Gretzky.
Mm. Honestly, I do go down some deep rabbit holes of where I think things are going. I like to study, like you said, the shovels. So, okay, all the information is there. It's in the newspaper every day. If it was the year 1910, we'd be reading in the newspaper that they're building railroads all across the country. If you had vision, you could tell yourself, "Oh, I can ship my products across the country now.
Or even
If it
better,
was
I could own a piece of the railroad.
right, that too, right? If it was the year 1950, you could say, "Oh, there's this drink called Coca-Cola," or 1940, there's this drink called Coca-Cola. It's an invention. This has never existed before. It's delicious. Everybody loves it. All right, like there's oil, there's steel, there's media, there's all these things happening. If you had vision to see what's coming, you can make ideas. So one idea today is, all right, if everybody's going to be in this augmented reality, what's coming and what's already here is going to be video games. And maybe it's not up our alleys, but video games are going to get way more interactive, way more hands-on, way more in your face. A lot of stuff is going to happen. I know I'm going down a weird little idea, but things take the technology sector is just going to get even crazier. It's just going to get movie level insane.
Okay, so I kind of know the answer to this, but I'm going to throw it at you.
Mm-hmm.
What's going to drive that industry? What are the shovels that industry needs?
Oh, okay. Definitely some microchips for sure.
Energy,
Energy.
nuclear energy.
Yeah, nuclear energy.
Because it ain't going to happen
Yeah.
off of fossil fuels. The planet is
Right.
not big enough to put solar panels everywhere and generate that kind of energy.
Right.
So
100%.
if augmented reality is coming,
Yep.
it's going to need a hell of a lot of energy to run.
Yes. Yeah. And
So
we're and you need, if you want to own that land, right? You want to own that land where they're going to have these computer processing centers.
yeah, I mean, for me, everything kind of stems around real estate
Mm-hmm.
because all this stuff has to be somewhere or broadcast
Right.
from somewhere.
Of course.
Like I'm in my office right now. I mean,
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Yeah.
John, let's
Yep.
continue this at another date and time. I'm
Yeah.
leaving for the island in 2 days. So
Okay.
tomorrow is my last work day. Then
Mm-hmm.
Thursday, I have to prep for travel. Friday, I'm gone. I come back on the 10th. If it would be okay with you, let's meet in Worcester. I'll buy you dinner. Let's
Hey,
continue this conversation and see where you see some of the cracks in my platform, what can be done, and let's see if we can start to promote Why Not Real Estate.
let's do it, man. I appreciate
All
you
right.
having me here.
John, it was my pleasure. We didn't ask a single damn question that was on the script, and I loved it anyways.
Yep.
Any of our viewers who are out here watching this podcast who say, wow, John is an innovator, he's a visionary, and I want to get in touch with him, how should our guests on the show today get in touch with you, John?
WhoopPowerMedia.com.
WooPowerMedia.com. Just go there. And how big is the company right now?
In terms of people,
Yeah.
um, we have about like 3 or 4 people working for us, like freelancing.
Okay. Big enough
Yeah,
to get stuff done, small enough to invest in.
exactly.
Because I don't want to just be a client. We're going to talk about some other things.
Hey, man, I haven't even shared all my ideas on here, so we got some big conversations coming.
Well, all the more reason why people should get in touch with you. And again, that's woopowermedia.com.
Let's do it.
John, any other closing comments for our audio listeners, video listeners today?
Just believe in yourself. That's all. Just don't give up. Just believe in yourself. Don't give up.
Well, thank you very much, John, Mr. Lundin, for being our guest on the Why Not Real Estate podcast today. All of my real estate peeps, rock stars, entrepreneurs, and investors, this is Brian Lucier from the Why Not Real Estate Podcast signing off, and we'll see you on the next one.